Hello Changemakers, welcome back to our channel. It's Julia Cha. Today we have an anonymous audience member who has sent me an email asking me to help them in a difficult work situation. Specifically, if you are dealing with a toxic work culture, if you feel like your boss isn't really hearing you and seeing you, if you feel like you have a lot of potential but you don't know how to get yourself promoted in this type of environment, this is the video for you. I'm gonna first read you the email that I got. Hi Julia, I hope you can help me and please keep me anonymous. I'm a tech worker and my company is a hot mess. I was the first person hired for my small specific department besides my boss who leads it. There is only one person with my job title. My boss is a people pleaser and through his lack of boundaries, our tenure is marred by unfinished projects and a general lack of accomplishment. He takes us whichever way the wind blows so that he never has to say no to anybody. A few years in, I'm pretty frustrated by this. I feel like I have nothing to show and I'm generally forgotten and ignored. What I want is more influence so I can set better boundaries that my boss seems to be unable to so that I can offer my ideas. The expertise in my field is severely lacking higher up, which leads to a lot of unmet, impossible expectations when my boss can't seem to find the way to tell them no. However, my boss is sort of the gatekeeper to access to others outside the department. We're all remote workers and I'm not involved in these meetings and I don't personally know anybody outside of my immediate team. I can't slightly strike up conversations with people. I need to be invited. How can I get my boss to extend the invitation? And once I get it, how do I get noticed? Thank you for reading. Let's address this in the most simple and direct way possible. Just based on the information that I got and the way that this anonymous sender tells the story, is that this company doesn't have much of a growth culture. It sounds very closed off, authoritative, and people don't really know why they're doing something. There's not really a general sense of shared mission. That's the sense I'm getting. You also want to observe when you are about to go into a company culture or as you enter a company culture, how your supervisors and people before you, the people who were hired before you, are being treated. If they in general are not being valued for contributions, ideas, if there's not much growth happening, there's not much communication, not much of that collective, we have one mission and we want to accomplish this mission, that kind of unity in a culture, then there's nothing that you can do to change the culture. The culture gets determined by the upper leadership, the CEO, founder, board of directors, people who are high up. Their leadership style is going to trickle down and it's going to set the tone for the whole company. I feel, although I don't have all the information, that this particular case of a company doesn't have a growth mindset and you want growth. So already we have a different value system. A company that values growth mindset will encourage people to look forward. Where else do you want to go? What do you want your next steps to be? There's a lot of those types of conversations. You see your former supervisors and bosses getting promoted. You see people who are hired before you get promoted. There is a general sense of movement and flow. There's a collective desire to develop, especially at a startup like this, at a very early stage. There's gonna be typically, if it's a growth-oriented culture, more communication, more collaboration. These are the signs that you want to look for. I'm not really getting a sense of that at all when I'm reading this. There's unfinished projects, general lack of accomplishment, these both symptoms of very fixed, I guess you can say fixed mindset culture. Your boss doesn't seem to really know what's going on. So that means upper leadership may not have good clarity. They may not be taking in the information that they need, the expertise of your boss and your department. If that is the case, there's not much you can do to fix that. Many of you come from environments where you wanted to be the fixer and the changer and the change maker channel that we're at. You're very growth minded and you want to make a difference, but you can't. In an environment like this, your growth, opinions, and values may not be welcome. You cannot be valued at a place where they can't see your value. They can't see your drive, ambition, desire for contribution as a positive. In an environment like this, they possibly just want someone to put their head down, do the work. Just do as you're told. Don't ask questions. In a culture like that, you can't have growth. My suggestion to you, if you are experiencing a situation like this, is to start looking elsewhere. Take your many years of experience. You say you have nothing to show for, but you definitely have transferable skills. You want to start looking for a new position at a company that will promote growth. Ask yourself why it took you so many years of being in an unhappy environment. What kept you there? Is this the way you cope a lot of times? This is a pattern where you can't quit. You know something is not right for you, but you can't quit. You can't quit relationships. You can't set boundaries yourself. You're calling your boss a pleaser, but if your company is not meeting your needs outside of paying your salary, they're not meeting your growth needs, then you are also, in many ways, having problems with your boundaries, not just your boss. If a company is a hot mess, people who stay there are also the puzzles that fit into the hot mess. So you have to start looking at yourself honestly and ask yourself, why are you here? Why is it taking you many years of frustration, wanting to change things, being unhappy, still wanting to change things, and asking a coach like me to give you strategies to work around the impossibility of a culture that does not share the same values of growth and progress as you. Many of you are doing this in your family dynamics. You're doing it in your personal relationships. You have, friends who are not really friends. You have intimate partners and lovers who are not really seeing your value. They're not treating you well, but you keep on going, wanting to change that person, wanting to change your parents, you want to change your siblings. You see, this is a coping mechanism for you. The most important thing here isn't about trying to use social elegance to fix something impossible. Now it's time for you to look at yourself, take self-leadership, and do what's right for you. Set those boundaries, give yourself what you deserve. Go on and move on to your next chapter.